Savvy Business Radio, drawing out the best from our guests with our host, Christina Nichman.
Ever thought of leaving corporate America to start your own business? Then you're going to want to listen in to our guest today, Maria LeCuyer. She shares her journey from pharmaceutical executive of Fortune 500's 10 biggest healthcare companies to creating her thriving business. Find out more about Maria at marialecuyer.com. Hi, Maria. Welcome to Savvy Business Radio. How are you today?
I'm wonderful, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to have you here today on Savvy. You've helped many business owners out there not only transition to the next level of their business where they can be more successful, bring in more profit, but also businesses who are just starting in business and figure out what are the best tips they can do to avoid most costly mistakes that a lot of us make. So before we go to sharing some of those wonderful tips, share with our audience a little bit about your background.
Oh, perfect. So I went to school and I got my degree in pharmacy, and then I got married and everything was wonderful. I got divorced very early on, and then I was left alone with 2 children to raise on my own.
Wow.
So that was my motivation to do what I needed to do. And I was one of the lucky ones. I started working for a pharmaceutical company, and I started getting promoted very quickly. And I actually became the first Hispanic Latin executive for the company.
Wow.
And I definitely know what it's like to meet a man's environment and the obstacles that women have to face in leadership. Mm. And so to make a long story short, that was about 30 years ago. So I was, you know what? I was making good money. I had great benefits. I had a lot of amazing opportunities, training, experience, you name it. And I was doing extremely well. And then I walked away from a very high paying job. And it's all because I wasn't happy. Mm. And you know, there's a time in our lives that something happens in your life, whether it's a trigger or an aha moment. Something happens in your life where you say, wait a minute, let me stop what I'm doing and let me look at this. And that happened to me a few years ago. So that's when I decided, you know what, this is enough for me. I'm not happy anymore. It was the death of my mother. And when I found out that she was basically ill, she only had like 10 days to live. She had a very aggressive tumor in her brain. And so I didn't really get to spend much time with her toward the end. And I realized, man, I'm working a lot of hours. I'm getting paid well, but I have no life. I'm not spending time with my family. I don't have flexibility. I can't go on vacation when I want to. And that was my aha moment. Yes. So that's when I decided to walk away from corporate America and go on my own, because if whatever I could do for them, I certainly could do for myself.
Wow. And you don't know, Maria, how many people have come on the show with a similar occurrence in their life, whether it's some catastrophe or crisis, that was the aha moment that I don't have to keep doing this. I mean, for me, it was that same moment. I was on the way to work, and I was in the 4th job, I think, in 4 years that was about to go belly up. And I was saying to my ex-boss, I cannot take having to look for another job. Where I didn't actually get laid off, I was always able to hop from one job to another. It was tiresome being the person who's new. You got to prove yourself to new people, new boss, and then taking a pay cut. I was like, I'm done. And I was going my way into that job where I was like, I can't do it anymore. And I was praying and I said, but I feel like I can't quit. I don't want to be a quitter. And I felt God tell me, since when have I ever not had your back, no matter what you decided? Because I think, Maria, and tell me if you're wrong, working with your clients, people kind of tell themselves these ideas and stories that we only have one option. And that's not the truth.
Absolutely. Especially when you've been in the company for so many years or doing the same thing for so many years, we get into this type of, a mentality that there's nothing else out there better. And what I've discovered is, especially for women, the fear factor of that instability. You know, how can I walk away from a high paying job or a salary? Even if it's just paycheck to paycheck, benefits, insurance, and maybe I'm a single mom and so forth. How do I walk away from that? And that sort of deters a lot of people from really jumping over and starting their own business. Absolutely. And I've been there. Don't get me wrong. I've been there, and I thought it over for a couple of years before I decided I was going to do this.
Yeah.
But I prepared, and I planned it out, and I saved some money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do recommend. If you want to do something like this, you got to have either a part-time job on the side, or maybe you have some extra income. You were able to save some money. You can live off certain, savings. It's not easy. It's scary, but let me tell you, it's all worth it. When you look back, it's all worth it. And I really believe it's available for everybody. And with the right mentality, the positivity, the mindset, and the support group, it's so important. This can happen for anybody.
I love that you say that, Maria. And interesting, for me, I recall I let myself get to a point of a breaking point with the 4 businesses that kept going through turmoil and then ending up where they had to downsize. I put myself in a position where I had to leave. My health was in jeopardy. I ended up in the emergency room at 4 a.m. with chest pains. And I think when people get to that spot, you're left with very little options where it's like, I've got to do this now or else I'm in jeopardy. And I think what you say, to plan ahead, don't put yourself against the wall where now you're in a crisis or a jeopardy and now you got to jump. Put yourself in a position where, hey, I can plan for this. This is possible. Let's do it step by step. Instead of feeling like now I'm against the wall and I've got to make a judgment call or I've got to make a decision today.
Absolutely. And with what's going on today in today's world, most of my clients are women. For some reason, I attract a lot of women, especially corporate women. We're talking about women that are making 6 figures or even VPs and presidents. And guess what? They hate their job. And that's what I'm discovering. I'm discovering more and more people that, they make good money, but they hate their job. They're stressed out. They're working long hours. They're exhausted mentally. They're having health issues because of the stress level. So that's what I'm encountering. And more and more people want to leave their corporate job, but they don't know what to do. And so the majority, especially if you've been in the workforce for the past 20, 25 years, and you're not 25, 30, you're not a millennium, now to go out on your own, you don't have that knowledge and the certain skills that you need today. And that's what where I come in with my audience. And I like to use, since my background is, I'm a pharmacist, and I still practice, by the way, in the sense that I'm a consultant in an adult assisted living facility, which is, I'm the angel investor because that's my passion. So I really like to give back. And both my parents had Alzheimer's. So I am really into finding a cure for Alzheimer's in the future. But getting back to that, I'm encountering more and more people that are very unhappy and they don't know what to do. Now they're leaving their corporate job and they don't know the first thing to do. They are not aware of the technologies that's out there that can help them. They're not aware that there's also support systems that can help them. And they find themselves lost. And that's where I came in.
Yeah. And it is scary, Maria, because if you think about it, you're going from, if you're talking about a lot of the women that work with you, you're going from a 6-figure or more salary and you're like, whoa, how am I going to be able to do that in my own business when I don't have the skills necessary? And you're right. It is so pertinent to get a good mentor, coach who has gone through it, who is successful and can show you the skills necessary, sales, maybe mindset, marketing, all the things I knew nothing about myself when getting started. So walk us through what it looks like when a new person comes to you and they, oh, help me, Marie. What does it look like?
Well, my new person, the first thing I start talking about is, and like I said, the terminology, excusitis. That's my favorite term that I use all the time. The disease of excuses. So the first thing we need to do is I do sort of preview my client where they're at in their mentality, because if they're not teachable, they're not open, they're not going to follow through. But the first thing I start with, okay, what are your excuses? And you can imagine their excuses of why I don't get things done. Yeah, they're dreaming of this business. Yeah, they want this business, but they have all kinds of excuses. So I call that the excusitis disease. So first we have to get rid of that. We have to get rid of that. And we have to get into the positive mindset. Yes, you can do this. The next thing that I want to know from them is you need to do a business that you're passionate about, that you enjoy, because a lot of people are leaving corporate America because they hate their job. So why don't you do something, build something that you love? So we have to find what that is. What is that idea? Some people know what they want and some people have no clue. So now we work on that.
Yeah. Yeah. That is really great points there, because one of the yeah, but things can really, really just hold you in your tracks. One of my favorite mentors always says, you know what? You're going to have excuses because guess what? The kid's going to get sick. The car is going to break down. Life is going to continue to happen, but you have to continue to walk forward in action steps every day towards your goal. And the other thing you mentioned about not even knowing where you want to go. I had been in corporate America for 25 years. I had done finance, like it, don't love it. And I said, well, I'm going to take what I did in corporate America because it felt a little bit safer because I know it. I have the skills. And my first mentor said, so tell me, do you love it? And I said, well, no, I like it. I'm good at it. And she's like, okay, give me the first 5 words that pop out into your head when you think of doing a finance related, job or new venture. And they were all negative words. And she's like, well, that tells me something. I don't see this being successful for you because you can't see it in a positive light. You can't even begin to see yourself enjoying it. You're going to be doing the same thing you did in corporate, but now doing it around the clock because now it's your business.
Absolutely. And every successful person that I know have a very positive mindset, and they are determined to make it happen. And so that's the first thing you have to work with. The other thing that I just want to mention real quick is not every business idea or even that passion that you think you have can also be turned into something that's going to give you the kind of money that you want. So we want to look at that. But you're absolutely right. The positive mindset, what comes out of your mouth, the buts, the ifs, the onlys, you need to eliminate that from your life. And start thinking, well, I don't know how, but I'm going to get this done. I don't know how, but I'm going to build this empire. I don't know how, but I'm going to get this amazing whatever contract or whatever. You got to have that type of mentality. And everybody that I know that is successful are positive. They have the right mindset. They are go-getters in the sense of they take action. They have amazing support team around them, and they just they break down obstacles. There's no excuse. They're going to make it happen.
Yeah. And you mentioned something early on that you've been in business for a long time and you've broken through barriers that, sometimes there's still obstacles to being a woman in business and being taken seriously. Do you feel that some of those obstacles are more self-imposed or do they still exist on the outside? What is your perspective?
Okay. It's unfortunate, but those obstacles still exist in corporate America today. There's still that males only club. Women are treated differently than male. They're not recognized the same. They're not paid the same. And it's unfortunate, but that is still happening. So that's one obstacle. And the other obstacle, we women, we do some of it ourselves because we're more accommodating, we're more submissive, I believe. We are afraid to ask for that raise. We're afraid to ask for things that men have no problem doing. And so we're also comfortable in keeping what we have rather than losing everything that we've been working. And we have a tendency to look at our past. If only I had done something different. And a lot of men don't do that. They just go forward and they do what they need to do. And we as women, we tend to have sometimes, like regrets and our fear holds us back. And I see that more with women.
Now, is that something we're conditioned into as a society as women, or is it just the way we are as females because we're more nurturing and more in touch with our heart?
No, I really believe, and that's one of the things that I do teach in some of my workshops that has nothing to do really with business, is I really believe that you're born with a clean slate. Male, women, female, you're born with a clean slate. And I tell my students, you have 2 balls of energy in your subconscious. And as you're exposed to society and school and your parents' beliefs and everybody else's, what they're telling you, you're making those balls of energy are growing. And I call one positive and one negative. So a lot of people carry a lot of negative ball of energy because of the way they've been exposed to. And versus the positive ball of energy. So I really believe that you are actually born and you're being influenced by your surrounding, your environment, and who you listen to and other people's beliefs.
Wow. That is tremendous. And We talked prior to the interview a little bit, and you had also told me that you help businesses take it to the next notch, the next level. And a number of women I've talked to, and it's sad, I've heard statistics where women, on an average of being women business owners, generally don't do as well as men who own businesses. And so is it that mindset thing? And do you help with the businesses taking to the next notch, next level? Do you help primarily with the mindset to helping them do that? How do you help them in transition?
Absolutely. A lot of time it is a mindset. But the other thing is some people, small business owners mostly, are running their business like they did for 20 years and they haven't evolved. Mm-hmm. And they need to evolve. They need to change their strategies or maybe the way they do things based on what's going on today with the economy. So a quick example, everybody now uses their phone for everything, right? Mm-hmm. They're mobile. I know business owners that have a website that is 20 years old and they don't have any type of, anybody can look them up on the mobile device because their website is not mobile friendly. Mm-hmm. Something as simple as that. So it's just making sure you are current. Mm-hmm. And you're looking ahead and what's coming down the road, how the economy is changing, and you need to evolve your business. And with that said and done, if you want to make more money, what other forms of revenue can you create in your business other than just one source? Mm. Can you create other products? Can you create digital products? Can you do, example, do a workshop or write a book or whatever? There's all kinds of revenue that you can also generate extra sales for your business. That's just one of them. If you're doing extremely well and money's coming in, then you can scale your business to the next level. And if not, maybe you can invest like I do. I'm an investor. I invest in properties, real estate. I invest in other businesses. So I have income coming in all directions. And everybody that I know that it has made it, and I'm talking about, like the Tony Robbins or whatever, they don't rely on one source of income. Mm-hmm. They have all kinds of things going on.
Yeah, that is tremendous. That is completely true. Some of the top-notch successful people in the world, that is the one thing that I saw in common is that they don't have one source of revenue. There's several streams, several baskets of revenue coming in, and you don't have to be stuck on one thing. But it's also important. We had talked before the interview how often a business owner like my friend who's been at $150,000 for a number of years, she's not doing anything different. And it's not just a change of the website. It's the way your processes, your way of doing things. Mm-hmm. If you do things the same, you're going to get the same result. So it takes changing things up, whether it's not just your website, but it's your processes or maybe your mindset. Like one guy I met said, well, I've been at 300,000. For him, it felt like a big leap to get to $1 million. I'm like, well, it's a number. Right. So really it's that idea that, okay, what's the big difference between $1 million or 300,000? Right.
You're right on. I want to use a really quick client. I have a client right now that she's a jazz singer. And so I'm not all just about brick and mortar. I have all kinds of clients. And she's been struggling to get her career going for the past, I don't know, since I've known her. I've only known her for maybe about 2 years, a year and a half. Mm-hmm. And, but she's been trying to get her career going for the past 4, 5, 6 years. And, and the reason she hasn't is because she has not been, she's missing steps. Yeah. And I'll give you an example. I connected with, as simple as LinkedIn. I connected with somebody in LinkedIn, and it was another host for another radio show. Okay. But through that, I met this amazing lady. She's international, and now she's having this amazing event in Miami. That's where I'm from. There's going to be 10,000 women event. It's the first of its kind, women-only panel, women-only event, and women-only artists to finish up. And I was able to connect her with the owner who's putting all this together, and this is an opportunity for her to showcase and sing in front of 10,000 women. So that's what I mean about opportunities, how other people, it doesn't have to be myself, but other mentors that can help business owners of any type of business. This could be for service, it could be for product, this could be a brick and mortar, how we can help you go to the next level, how to expand your business, how to expose you to other people, how to make those connections. And those are the things that somebody that's been corporate America for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, they leave, they don't know. I'm going to give you a very funny story. When I left corporate America, now understand, I was an executive. I had a staff. I had my personal secretary. I had my personal everything. And I remember, now I'm starting my business on my own, and I was trying to do an Excel spreadsheet. Guess what? I forgot how to do an Excel spreadsheet. I hadn't done one in 20 years. So see, something as simple as that is an obstacle for someone like me who did not grow up in technology. And so what happens is when you run into little obstacles that I know they're silly at times, but when you're starting off and you are in a known and unknown environment of entrepreneurship, those obstacles is what stops people from going on. They hit too many of them and then they quit. They say, this is too hard. Instead of breaking down that wall, moving that obstacle out of the way and going through it, or finding somebody that can help them with it and so forth, they give up.
Yeah.
They give up.
Yeah, I completely get you there. And that's why it's so important, as I talked about earlier today with another guest, how important it is to surround yourself with people who are successful, who are in business, and also to have a mentor, to have someone that's been there, can show you what you can't see. And here's the thing, there's opportunities sometimes that you just are not aware of, that are not in your presence of mind, or that you can visualize because you've not been brought to your awareness. And by hanging out with these people who are maybe a little bit more successful or very successful where you're not yet, they can help you see opportunities that are right there in front of you that you're not aware of.
Absolutely. I like to use the radar. They're not in your radar, like the airplanes, and they're not in your radar. And there's something else out there for you, just haven't seen it yet. And then next thing it shows up.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Yeah. And it's been tremendous for me, really connecting with people who are successful and maybe in a position I'm not interested in, but they've created some sort of success in business in some fashion. And I can learn from each of them and use it in a way in my own life. Now, what do you do when someone comes to you and they're wanting to take it to the next notch? How do you get started with them? Because they're already in business. How do you get started with them? They're not a newbie now.
Right. So I look at their business model.
Okay.
I look at their strategies, and then I can make recommendation, or we can tweak them, and we can try offer things, or I can bring to the table maybe other strategies that they haven't thought of, like you said, they're not aware of. And that's what I've been encountering. It's just that they don't know. They haven't been exposed to it, or they have been running their business in a certain way. A lot of people that I know of do not use the social media world enough. Don't use the internet enough. The other thing that I find that I'm starting to get good at it, and only because I had to surround myself. And by the way, my team are all millenniums. I had to, because they're so techie. Yeah. Is I needed to automate my business. I needed to use the technology that's out there to be more efficient. And I still see people doing bookkeeping and certain things and keeping track and files. They don't use any type of file systems like file sharing. I know it sounds silly, but that's what I'm encountering. I'm encountering people that are still using the old ways and not even aware that oh my God, there's a system called, Google Drive or some other one. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And those seem to be the clients that I'm attracting. They're in their, probably in their 50-ish, late 40-ish, or maybe they were housewives who never worked before. Now they want to start their own business but that's, believe it or not, that's what's happening. So sometimes it's very easy to see what needs to be tweaked to just take it to the next level.
Yeah, I get you. And that's why what's interesting is you surrounded yourself with the people, the knowledge you didn't have, but they had the knowledge. And I think it was Ford where someone had pointed out to him, well, you only have a high school degree or something. He's like, I don't need to have all the knowledge. I hired the people I need to have the knowledge I need. And that's what you did. You hired people who had what you need to run your business successfully.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what, so because of all this, that's when I realized, wait a minute, there's a need for this. So that's when I just decided recently, and I did it, I just created an online course for those type of people that want to leave corporate America and they have no idea. They don't even know how do I incorporate the business? How to find the business name? And there are still a lot of people like that, believe it or not. And so that's why I created an online course that takes them from the idea, the excuses, the excusitis. Will your idea make you the kind of money that you're looking for? And it takes you step by step until you create a business ready to go. And then on the last module, it's like a little bonus of, okay, now you have this amazing business. How do we make it passive income so you're actually making money while you're sleeping? And the goal is to get you up and running and profitable within your first year.
That's awesome.
Okay. Because a lot of people have businesses and they're not making any money. 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, and nothing's going on.
Yeah. Well, you're going to help them change that. How do they get in touch with you and start working with you today? How do they do that?
Absolutely. Just go to my website, Maria LeCuyer. That's Maria, LeCuyer.com. And on there, you can find everything, how to get a hold of me, my email address, my contact form, my media, my profile, also my online course, and I've written an ebook that will be posted on the website in a couple of days. Mm-hmm. So any information they need, they can get it from there. It's just easier for them. I'm also available on LinkedIn under Maria LeCuyer, author and business person. So everything's on the website. They can reach me through there.
Awesome. Well, this has been such a wonderful, fascinating talk. And I thank you so much, Maria, for coming to share on Savvy Business Radio.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you so much for having me here.
Savvy Business Radio broadcasts worldwide via a large podcast network, celebrating business owners, entrepreneurs, influencers, and successful individuals. Find out about our paid sponsorship opportunities or how to become a guest. Call 732-474-7375 or email Christina@savvybusinessradio.com.